פרק ב' הלכה א', I'm starting. חולי הגוף טועמים המר מתוק והמתוק מר. People that are physically sick, they taste the bitter as sweet and the sweet as bitter. There's a physical sickness. ויש מן החולים מי שמתאווה ותאב למאכלות שאינן ראויים לאכילה, כגון העפר והפחם. ושונא המאכלות הטובים. And there are people among the sick which have cravings and desires for food that is unfit for human consumption. By the way, like a lot of the supposed junk food, a lot of it really is unfit for human consumption with terrible chemicals. And have a lust for things like afar and peham, for things like dirt and coal. And they despise the good foods, כגון הפת והבשר, like bread and meat. הכל לפי רוב החולי. All this goes according to the severity of the sickness. כך בני אדם שנפשותיהם חולות מתאווים ואוהבים הדעות הרעות. In this very same way, those people who their souls are sick, in other words, their psyche is sick, they have want and lust and love for the bad dispositions and bad personality traits. And they hate the just path, the right path. And they are lazy to go in it. And this path of good disposition and good behavior and good personality traits is heavy on them, is ever very heavy on them. Again, according to the severity of the individual's sickness. וכן ישעיהו אומר באנשים הללו, חוי האומרים לרע טוב ולטוב רע, שמים חושך לאור ואור לחושך, שמים מר למתוק ומתוק למר. And Yeshayahu, the famous Navi, says on such people, woe unto those who say on the evil that it is good, and on the good that it is evil, and they put darkness for light and light for darkness, and they put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. He's talking about, of course, this is a parable for people in his days who are acting in a stupid way in terms of doing the precepts of the Torah and so on and so forth. But the parable itself has a lot of meaning to it, as we see. It is definitely relevant to what we are saying here. And on these people it is said, those who leave the path of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness. Halakha bet. Umahi takanat cholei hanefashot. And what is the corrective measure for the soul sick, for those that are sick in the soul? Yelechu esel hachachamim. First thing Rambam says, in order to fix these psychological issues, these deot, these dispositions, these bad dispositions, go to the hachamim. Somebody who has a problem should go to the hachamim. Who are the hachamim? Shehem rofe'eh hanefashot. Those who are the doctors of the souls, more of a psychologist in modern terminology. Go to the psychologist. So you see, Rambam, he doesn't have a problem with using the external means that the world has to offer in order to help with bettering our Torah and our mitzvot. It's not against the halakha. It's completely fine. And with that, I would say anybody who has a has some sort of issue in his disposition and wants to fix it, seek help if you need to. And it doesn't always have to be from a rabbinical help. It could also be a coach, a person that somebody that you're close to, and even a psychologist in some cases. And these rof'ei hanefashot are those that are mirape'im cholayim b'deot. They make better those that are sick in their dispositions and psychologically sick. And these doctors of the souls, these psychologists, teach the people who need to be taught until they are back on the right path. והם מכירים בדעות הרעות שלהם, ואינם הולכים אצל החכמים לרפא אותם עליהם, אמר שלמה, ומוסר, אווילים בזו. And those that are conscious of their bad tendencies and their bad dispositions, and do not go to the wise, to the Rofeim, to cure them, on these people, Shlomo HaMelech, who was the smartest person to ever live, says, wisdom and instruction, fools alone despise. Halakha Gimel. V'chesed hi refuatam. And now Rambam is giving us, according to his, how he understood the psychology of his days and his understanding of the human psychology in his days, he's giving us how to cure these bad dispositions and personality trait flaws. And how can they be cured? These people that need to be cured. מישהו בעל חימה, אומרים לו להנהיג עצמו, שעם הוקה וכולל לא ירגיש כלל. Somebody who has a hot temperament, who is full of anger, we tell him to demean himself, that if he is hit or cursed, he shall not feel this at all. And he shall go in this path for a long time. We teach him to go we teach him to teach himself to go in this path of not feeling anything, not feeling anything that somebody does bad to him. Okay? And until the anger is cured and taken out of his heart. And somebody, another example, let's say somebody has a lot of arrogance. He should teach himself to have to accustom himself to a life of extreme self-abasement. And he should sit below all and dress in rags which disrespect their wearers. In other words, somebody who is he's so narcissistic that he feels that this is what arrogance means. Is not only arrogance, it's narcissism. Somebody who's involved. He's involved with himself in such a way that it's difficult for himself to let go. So Harambam says, do a drastic change, go to the opposite, and instead of trying to break the habit of arrogance and narcissism, switch it with a new habit. And that new habit, as we said, is to be, so to speak, be in complete abasement, extreme self-abasement. And do all this until the arrogance is taken away from your heart. And after the person has gone in the habit of the aforementioned habit of being below all and so on, he should take himself back gradually to the middle road, which is the correct, good road. And once he has taken himself and trained himself back onto the middle road, in other words, the correct, proper, right human dispositions, he shall go in this way his whole life. ועל קו זה יעשה בשאר כל הדעות. אם היה רחוק לכסה האחד, ירחיק עצמו לכסה השני, וינהוג בו בזמן מרובה עד שיחזור לדרך הטובה, והיא מידה בינונית שבכל דעה ודעה. And Rambam gives us the rule, his, so to speak, psychological fixing rule. This line that we mentioned, that you go from one extreme to another, that you switch your extreme with a complete other extreme, יעשה בשאר כל הדעות, he shall do with all other dispositions that he wants to switch. אם היה רחוק לכסה האחד, ירחיק עצמו לכסה השני. If you were on one extreme, for instance, like arrogance and anger, as he brought, ירחיק עצמו לכסה השני. Go to the other extreme. But as I mentioned, this other extreme in itself is its own disposition. And therefore, as I mentioned previously, you're switching that old disposition with a new habit. Obviously, much easier than just getting rid of a habit. And the person should teach himself to go in this other extreme for a lengthy period of time, until he gets himself back on to the correct road, which is the road which is in the middle, which is midah benonit shebechol de'ah v'de'ah, which is this middle standard in each and every tendency. Halacha he. V'yesh de'ot she'asur lo la'adam linhog bahem bebenoniyut. Now, we said there were de'ot that you have to be in the middle, right? That's the rule for most of the de'ot. However, there are de'ot, there are dispositions which a person cannot be in the middle way of them. Ela yitrahek ad hakaseh ha'acher ad hakaseh ha'acher. Rather, he should go completely as far as he can from the other extreme. In other words, don't be in the middle, be as far as you can from one of the extremes. And what is that disposition? V'hu goba halev. And this trait is arrogance. But I said goba halev is even more than arrogance. It's an arrogance which is bordering on narcissistic, egotistical behavior. She'en haderech hatova sheyeh ha'adam anav bilvad. Because the right path in which a person should go isn't just being humble. Rather, a person must train himself to not only be just humble, rather extremely humble, extremely low-spirited. And his spirit should be ever so low. Now, what does it mean to be ever so low? Nobody's saying now to completely distance yourself from society and dress in a way which disrespects yourself permanently, and so on and so forth. Hachamim describe a certain way in which a person should be. It's not a way which disrespects yourself. Rambam explicitly says in the continuation of Ilchot Deot that a person must always dress in a respectful way. But with that, you have to keep some sort of humble composure and humble demeanor. Okay? And not just regular humility. Be more than that. And thus it was said about Moshe Rabbeinu that he was anav me'od. He was very humble in his spirit. It didn't say just humble. It said ever very humble. And such said Hachamim, the sages, that a person must be very, very, very low-spirited. And the sages furthermore said more that anybody who hires a spirit, in other words, dwells in arrogance, he is the one who kafar ba'ikar. He forgot Hashem. He, so to speak, saying that there's no Hakadosh Baruch Hu. As it says in Sefer Devarim, and your spirit will be lifted up, and you will forget the Lord Hakadosh Baruch Hu, thy God. In other words, the rom levav, the arrogance, the over uplifting of the spirit, will cause you to forget Hashem. By virtue of always being obsessed in yourself, you will surely forget Hashem and His precepts. And it says furthermore in the Gemara, isolated should be he who is in a haughty spirit, and even a little thereof. In other words, bemet, really one of the most important things to take care of is the arrogance, and it's something which is at a steady, in the United States today, arrogance is something which is steadily growing. The arrogance and narcissism and egotistical attributes that people have, studies have shown that is at a steady growth. And it really is something which we must, as Yehudim, learn to teach ourselves to have. I'm not saying, everybody has the steps they need to take in order to reach whatever level they can reach, but this is something, as we see clearly in Harambam, very important to take care of. Halacha vav. V'chen haka'as de'a ra'ah hi al me'od. And so also the anger is a terrible tendency as well. And it is fit that one should teach himself to go completely to the other extreme, away from anger, to the opposite extreme of anger. And he should teach himself not to be angry. And even on something which is fit to be angered about. And if somebody needed to engender awe in his children or his household or public, if he's a public leader or community leader, yes, and he needed to show them anger so that they will have proper respect for him as the leader that he is, so that they act in a correct manner. He should show from the outside in their eyes that he's angry, in order to engender fear in them and scare them and make sure that they do not act in this bad way. Of course, we're not talking to do this on a regular basis. However, this person's demeanor, this person's emotions shouldn't be, he should not be overwhelmed. Rather, his disposition must remain calm within himself. Just like as though somebody would go on stage and show that he's angry, and while he in reality is not really angry, so should a person do. And I'm just going to talk quickly, say a little bit something more about anger. Anger, the body, the human psyche has two systems in it. It has the fast thinking system and the slow thinking system. Okay, there's a whole book written on it by a Professor Daniel Kahneman, very highly recommended. And again, as Rambam said, it's okay to look at the outer psychological world to help ourselves with psychology. And these systems, the anger, the fast system and the slow system. The fast system is the emotional immediate response. The slow system is the rational response, which involves thinking, which involves thought. And when somebody dwells in anger, what he is doing is he's turning off his rational, slow thinking, and he's switching it with emotional, fast thinking. Now, emotional, fast thinking is inevitable, but a person who's always angry and dwells in this anger, he's, by virtue of dwelling in the anger, he's turning off his slow thinking, his rational thinking. And as a Jewish person, Harambam says in Shemona Perakim that a virtuous person has the responsibility to take his rational thinking and use his rational thinking to guide all other parts of his body, including the emotional. It's not bad to be emotional, but the emotional must be anchored through the rational. Halacha Zayin. Amiru Hachamim Arishonim, Kol HaKo'es Ki'ilu Ober Avodah Zarah. Hachamim Arishonim, the sages had said that anybody who is angry, it is as though he is worshipping idolatry. Ve'amiru, and furthermore they said, Shekol HaKo'es Im Hachamhu Chochmato Mistaleket Mimenu, Ve'im Navihu Nevu'ato Mistaleket Mimenu. And furthermore they said that anybody that is angry, if he is smart, If he's a man of wisdom, his wisdom leaves him. And if he is a Navi, if he is a prophet, his prophecy will go away from him. Ba'ale ka'as in hayehim hayim. Those who have anger, their life is not a life. And the reason their life is not a life is because, as I said, they're engulfed in their emotions, and they cannot wake up and see the life, their own life, through this rational thought. Rather, they see life through an emotional response. And this also, well, fine, I will not get into this. And because of this, Hachamim said that people should go far away from the anger. And so till a person should really train himself not to mind even the things which do cause irritation and really angering things. And this path, the path of being far from anger, is the good path, and it is the path of the righteous. And v'derech hasadikim hen aluvin ve'inan olvin shome'in herpatan ve'inan meshivin osin me'ahava usmechin be'isuram. And the path of the righteous is to take insults and not give insults. It's to hear themselves flouted but make no reply. They do their duty as a work of love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and bear affliction cheerfully. They don't, the anger, somebody says something bad, it doesn't bother them. And that is one of the way, really, the best, most optimal way, obviously, to deal with anger and arrogance. Obviously, not everybody has that ability, but everybody should strive to be there. And on these type of righteous men, it says in the Torah, it says in Sefer Shofetim, by may those that love him be as the rising of the sun in the might. Halacha het. Le'olam yarbe adam b'shtika. Another very good trait, important trait, which one should train himself in. Harambam is not saying to be in the extreme, like anger and arrogance, that you should be on the other side of the extreme. In other words, to never be angry and to always be humble, very humble. Rather, it's something which a person should do as much as possible. And rather, people should not speak unless they have to say something smart, wisdomful, or something, or for something that they need for their physical being, for their physical body. Amiru al Rab. It was said about Rav, Talmid Rabbeinu HaKadosh, the pupil of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, who was the writer, the editor of the Mishnah, the editor-in-chief of the Mishnah, that he did not say words of emptiness his whole life. And this is the speech of the majority of people. And even for his own, for somebody's own needs, for own physical needs, don't now start speaking a ton. I need this, I need that. Speak exactly about what you need. You should focus your speech. And speech is something which defines us from the animals. What makes Adam, Harishon Adam, is the fact that he was a ruach memalela, that he was a speaking spirit, that he had this ability to speak. That's what defines us from animals. We have the ability to say I to a you, and somebody else has the ability to say you to an I. And if we misuse this gift that was given to us by Kadosh Baruch Hu, then we're in a sense, so to speak, ruining our, I wouldn't say ruining, we're misusing the Selim Elohim that Kadosh Baruch Hu gave to us. ועל זה סיבו חכמים ואמרו, כל המרבה דברים מביא חטא, ואמרו לא מסעתי לגוף טוב, אלא שתיקה. And on this Hachamim said, anybody that overspeaks brings upon himself sin. And the sages also said, lo masati laguf tov ela shetika, I have not found for the body good but better than silence. Halakha tet. V'chen b'divrei Torah u'b'divrei chokhmah. Now, we said that it's okay to say things of wisdom with your mouth, to use the words, to speak for wisdom. But even for Torah and wisdom, v'chen b'divrei Torah u'b'divrei chokhmah. And yes, even for divrei Torah and wisdom, yihiyu divrei hacham mu'atim. The sage, the words of the sage shall be few. Ve'anyanehem merubim. But rather, their content should be a lot, should be full. והוא שסיבו חכמים ואמרו לעולם ישנה אדם לתלמידיו דרך קסרה. And this is what the sages said. לעולם, always. Should somebody teach his pupils in a short path. And what he means is here, even the greatest ideas could be said in a concise and specific manner. And it's not good to use superfluous language to explain. Yes. Second. And in fact, somebody who wants to express an idea and he has tons of words to say about that idea and is talking and has to talk and use superfluous language on this idea, and the content is little, by the way, much like a lot of whatever, I'm not going to get into politics. Somebody who needs to speak and use superfluous language and tautologies to explain his points, that is sikhlut. Now, sikhlut could be translated as stupidity, but the word sachal in Hebrew, the shoresh samich kaf lamed, sounds a lot like sechel, which is brain. Okay, sechel, brain, is sin kaf lamed. And these two words are connected because a sachal, somebody with the samech who is stupid, he thinks that he has sechel, he thinks that he has the one with the sin, but rather is stupid. And on these types of people, it says, for a dream cometh through a multitude of matter, and the voice of a fool cometh with a multitude of words, because the dream is the way in which most of the Nevi'im receive their Nebuot, most of the prophets receive their prophecies. Silence is the boundary for wisdom. And therefore, somebody shouldn't be too quick to answer or too quick to speak. And should teach his pupils in forbearance and calmness. Without screaming. And without, long, superfluous language. And this is what Shlomo HaMelech says. The words of the wise men spoken quietly are heard. In this part of Kohelet, there was a mashal that described a city, and the city was besieged by a terrible king, and all the people in the city were screaming in chaos, and the Hacham quietly, and the leaders were screaming one at another. Nobody could formulate proper ideas in how to get out of the siege, and the Hacham quietly, benachat, said his message, and little by little the message sunk in, and eventually they were able, far after the Hacham maybe was gone, they were able to deal with their issues. Yod Aleph, Halakha Yod Aleph. It is forbidden for a man to demean himself by using language of flattery and of flatter and allurement. A person should not be one thing in his mouth and one thing in his heart. In other words, I think something, but I'm telling you the opposite of what I think. Rather, his inside should be like his outside. His speech should be aligned with his heart and his thought. והעניין שבלב הוא הדבר שבפה. And the thing that's in the heart should be the same thing that's in his mouth. ואסור לגנוב דעת הבריות. And it is asur, it is forbidden to steal the knowledge of man, and even a goy, even somebody who is non-Jewish. And what he means is to steal is you're lying to somebody, you are stealing, you're, so to speak, robbing his perspective from the correct perspective that it should be. And very important that what he says here about the goy, there's a misconception in modern Israel. I've heard this misconception many times that it is okay to cheat a goy. It is not okay to cheat a goy, and it causes going to hate us, and it causes us to look like not good in the eyes of Hashem and in the eyes of people. How should a person not use his mouth for allurement and flattery? You should not sell the goy to a goy meat of a nebela, of an animal that died without shechita, without being properly kosherly slaughtered, within kosher meat. And not a shoe of a dead animal with a shoe of an animal that was properly slaughtered. And these, even, in other words, for a Jew, it's okay, maybe it would be obvious, but even for a goyim, they have value for these things. So maybe we don't know what the value is, but we cannot cheat them off in this way. And somebody shouldn't insist on his friend to come eat by him, to show that he's a good friend, when he knows, in fact, that the friend cannot come because he maybe has another previous engagements. And by this, you're causing him to think, oh wow, look how he likes me, but it's simply you're flattering. You're using improper conduct. You're stealing the mind of people. And you're burdening him with offerings which you know he won't accept. And you know that he's not going to accept these offerings. And now you have a friend comes over, and you say, oh come, I'm going to open. You have barrels of wine that you know you need to open in order to sell, but your friend comes over, and you use the opportunity to show what a good friend you are, and you say, oh come, I'm opening the barrels for you, while meanwhile you're simply opening the barrels to sell them, but you just want to show, wow, what a good fellow I am. To honor it, to deceive him, that for him you open these barrels. And so all these is anything just like the aforementioned examples. Even a single word of stealing the mind and allurement is forbidden. But rather a man must be true in his lip, a steadfast spirit, pure heart, and free from all travail and clamor. Now, another important aspect of the psyche is happiness versus depression and sadness. And Harambam tells us, don't be overly happy. I wasn't joking. Don't be overly sad. Ela sameach, but rather calmly happy. I'm giving it that way. Calmly happy. You're not overly happy. You're not always in a joking manner. You're calm. You feel good with yourself. And such have said the scholars. Laughter and lightheadedness, they cause the person to be regular in sexual obscenities. Chachamim really, they said that you should not be overly quick to jump on happiness, and not always sad and mittal echa, avilut. But rather you should receive everybody with a nice demeanor. Halacha Yodalet. And also, somebody shouldn't be overambitious nivhalahon, for money, over ambitious for money, in the sense that his soul is simply rushing for the money, and also not lazy and not working. It's important to work, as we see clearly. A person must have a job, even and especially a Talmid Chacham, but rather he shall be Ba'al Ayin Tova. He should work well. He should work to give himself enough money to live well and nicely. Not too much work. Yes, not always, working from 3 in the morning to 12 at night, and give yourself time to study. And of course, this is also dependent on the time and place in which a person lives. Nowadays, unfortunately, really people, fortunately or unfortunately, people have to work way more in terms of hours and quantity of time than 400 years ago, and definitely 800 years ago when the Mishne Tora was written. And nevertheless, it is important for a person to be able to balance his work life with his Torah life. And that little Torah, and that little wealth, which is yours, you should be happy with it. And a person shouldn't be always in a fighting in a fighting disposition, and he shouldn't have a demeanor of always wanting what others, envious, and wanting what others have. And he also shouldn't be overly lustful and tempted, and not always running after people to respect him, and great respect. And such have said the sages, envy and ta'ava and lust and respect and vaingloriousness remove the man from the world, from, I think, the world to come. Could be properly, most likely the world to come. עולם הבא. כללו של הדבר ילך במידה הבינונית שבכל דעה ודעה עד שיהיו כל דעותיו מכוונות באמצעית, והוא ששלמה אומר בכל דרכיך ייכונו. And as a general rule of the matter, a person should follow the tendency of the middle, as we've said many times in the past shi'ur, of each and every disposition. Okay, until all his habitual traits are properly trained, properly tuned to be in the middle. And this is as Shlomo has said, v'chol derachecha yikonu. Mehila. I think there's the full pasuk is balance well the track of your foot, and as a result, your ways will be firmly right. Baruch Adonai le'olam amen ve'amen. Bezrat Hashem more tomorrow, and we'll be a little bit shorter tomorrow. Bezrat Hashem.